Welcome back, everyone. We're going to be doing some back today. First, start off doing some closed grip rows. So arch your back. Stick that ass out. Yeah. Stick it out. You want to go in pretty much like you're rowing a boat. Pull to the middle of your gut or stomach. Using just your lower back. If you're doing it right, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, that's good for a first set. Be careful you don't hurt your lower back because you're doing hyperextensions. Alright. Whew. Alright, arch your back. Camera change. It's for some pull-ups from the ground. Oh, I have so much energy. So much more than I did without real protein. signed up for Amazon Prime because I only was holding on to the 30-day trial because of The Boys. I wanted to be able to watch The Boys no matter what, like the second it's released. But I still have, I guess they never changed their passwords. One X on one system and another X password on another system, so I can go on Amazon Prime on my PlayStation and my Xbox, and I have two options. So one of them can cancel their subscription as long as they both don't, which is highly unlikely. I'm good to go. So I did. I signed up for Prime and got a same day shipping and got my protein yesterday. And yeah, and yesterday I even ate all the oatmeal I had. I was completely out of food. So I needed a new battery for my new ride because I'm guessing I didn't shut a door or something perfectly, because after vacuuming the crap out of it, I think when I had the seats down or something, because I had them lay completely, it's pretty cool, they lay completely flat. And also it's the first year that the rear seats fold down, so I'm gonna do that. I'm pretty much gonna ride around like that, because it's just gonna make my subs that much louder. And then I'll go to car shows like that, and then just park like that, and then they can see my entire sound system, and then like my badass amp on the back, and how I'm gonna have it all perfectly wired. Better than any shop that you can go to that'll do it, because they lie and they suck and they charge way more than they say they will. Because every single time, like, it takes them longer to do something because they're lazy. They'll come back in and be like, "Oh, sorry, it's gonna be another $100," and then they come back, "Oh, sorry, it's gonna be another $100," and then they won't give you your vehicle back. I was this close to like beating up like 5 or 6 dudes with like long ass beards with this super awful like it was like pretty much like the Juggalo hairstyle for men, where they would shave like all around the sides of their head and then just leave just the top, and then they would like either man bun it or ponytail it, and then they would have like a long beard. And yeah, those dudes are like the biggest fagolas I have ever met. They're worse than the dudes that try to act tough and do steroids and just go to gym to try to fuck dudes. They are the worst people ever. And they fucking stink too. That's why they like stink of cologne. But after the cologne wears off and then they actually start working, you smell that fucking sharp ass body odor. After I got my car back, because like I had a bunch of money and I was really depressed, so I thought to cheer myself up, I'd take the money and have someone install my sound system for me instead of me doing it like I've done every single time up until my last car. And second to last car. Because I also put a sound system in my Mustang. My other Mustang. But yeah, so long story short, I am going to do it all myself. And I was wondering why, when I stripped the stereo system out, I noticed that they don't use your wiring, because they want to charge you the same amount that you paid for your wiring, but use wiring that costs like a quarter of what yours costs. So they'll use 8 gauge wire when you want 2 gauge, or not 2 gauge, 4 gauge, or 0 gauge. I asked for 0 gauge, they gave me 8 gauge. And then with the amp, I was like, this isn't enough to power my subs. And they're like, well, you won't get any more at, like, you know, through the amp. Like, this is like to your subs. Like, you won't get more. Come to find out, it's because they only use an 8 gauge wire. Of course I'm not going to get that much fucking power coming from an 8 gauge. It's going to blow a fuse every time I go, like, more than halfway. Which, luckily, I was able to use a capacitor to make up for it. And yeah, but still, the sound system was not as loud in my last car, having someone else install it. Never have someone else install your stereo, ever, because they will not. It may come out looking like factory, but if you look to see what corners they cut and the damage that they did to, like, underneath everything, you'll realize that you made a huge mistake. So I am not going to do that with my new ride, because it's like finally my perfect car. Like, it's like going to be the first car, well, technically second, but that's a different type of insurance because it's a classic car. But the first newer car I'm going to get full coverage for, just because people are fucking stupid. Like, obviously no people should be allowed to drive unless they love to drive. And the only people that love to drive cars that are awesome. So unless someone's driving an awesome car that's fun to drive, and then everyone's like, oh, that has nothing to do with stopping distance and road conditions. I'm like, yes, it does. It's called car control. No one in America knows about that because of the fact that for forever, all American vehicles didn't have independent suspension. They had pretty much a lawnmower rear end, is what the Europeans would say. But no, it was a lorry rear end, which is really true. We had pickup truck rear ends in our cars and everything. Like leaf springs and fucking everything. That is like, it's sufficient, but it's not when it comes to going around corners. That's why Americans were dubbed like the best, straight line cars, like, or going right around a racetrack, which is the most ignorant shit ever, because those cars are literally set up like, it's like exactly like, actually, FX cars are more entertaining, like times like 1,000 than a NASCAR race, because every single one of their cars, all they have to do is put the pedal to the floor, and they'll all, because they all have the same amount of horsepower, the same amount of weight, the bodies are almost identical, everything is just pretty much like pecking order. It's like, and then who gets lucky here and who makes up a spot. Most NASCAR drivers will stay in their position the whole fucking season, whatever position they're in. Maybe they'll go up or go down a position, and yeah, and that's it. That's it. And then if something crazy happens, and then like someone messes up, but it doesn't like mess with the racetrack, then yeah, then they could, gain places. But that's it. Otherwise, they stay in place because they're all the same speed. So they're all just going around the same thing. So it's like if you had an FX car and you pulled the trigger all the way and the car's like and just never flew off like it would, like the first corner. So you have to like actually like, have it and then get going and going and going, and then the rubber starts to warm up on the tires, and then you can actually get it to a certain speed, and then you'll see in the corners it'll start to drift the corners and everything, because it's got a needle in the middle, and the ass end will drift around the corners. And right when you got that, like that's like your top speed of an RC car, but like not RC, it's FX, not RC. Fuck RC. Batteries die. At any moment, any battery that you know of is dying. And just to prove that point, I just had to replace a battery in my brand new fucking car. The fuck? Like, it dies once and then it's dead. I tried charging it, and As I'm charging it, I'm watching the battery go down. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was because I was using my stereo and everything off the same current. Nope. Had straight current and the battery was still going down. So I had to like use the last of it to move my seats forward and backwards so I can vacuum and polish everything. And my God, I did. That car smells like Armor All in new car scent. Which reminds me, to cover up some of that Armor All, I gotta throw a new car in there. And then I think after that one wears out, then I'll switch over to Black Eyes. I mean Black Ice. Black Eyes, whatever. Same thing. Sounds the same. Alright, I'm just putting this shit off. Black Eyes. But for like, yeah, newer type of car that I got, that you definitely put Black Eyes in it. And then for like classic cars like Mustangs, you can't go anywhere other than new car scent. It's just like, it's just the best because it mixes with that old car scent, and it's just like, it's like opening up a pack of cards. It's just that perfect scent, that perfect smell. For like a clean old car in mint condition that smells like a new car but still has that classic smell. Oh, I love it. I love it almost. I love it pretty much almost as much as the rumble of an offbeat V8. I just didn't want this episode to be super short because my back is almost done. There you go. One more rep to do with that. And I'm going to do like a couple more in like an hour or so to see if I fully rip my back, which normally I do because that's great for isolating. You know what really sucks around this time of year? You want to go and like, look to the future because this time of year you're thinking, all right, it's the end of the year. I want to start the year off with a bang, which means, you want to have some good savings. You want to have something. You want to have savings. You want to have all your ducks in a row. You want to have a plan. So a lot of people, they change lifestyles. That's why gyms have that join, membership, and you have to literally skip it because like pretty much from Thanksgiving to like I think the end of February, you have to literally miss the gym or only go like 24-hour gyms late in the day, not like even like past 10, like 11, 12 o'clock you want to go, because otherwise they're going to be packed with a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing, and they're going to get in your way, and they're going to turn your workout that already takes forever to do correctly to make sure that you rip your muscles. And then they're also, newbies to the gym. They don't know gym etiquette. They don't clean off the machines. It's just all fucking disgusting. They clog up the locker rooms, the showers, everything. It's just fucking just a bunch of disgusting people that hate themselves, that are going to make a half-ass effort to make themselves feel better, and they're going to go to the gym, and then they're going to talk about it, and that's all they're going to talk about to everyone because it's all they know, because they get obsessed with it. And then after everyone's like, okay, yeah, shut the fuck up, I'm tired of listening to you, then unless they, really, really gain a passion for it, they're gonna just quit. Like every person that talks at the gym, or just starts at the beginning of the year. So I couldn't even go and get a gym membership right now if I wanted to, which I don't want to right now. just because I'm in between houses. So, yeah. Also realized that I found out my real estate agent sucks at her job bad. And she's a fucked up person. I mean, I did her entire job when I bought my first house. I did all the research. I pretty much just used her to grease the wheels. That's it. And she made 10 grand off me for fucking doing absolutely fucking nothing. Because it was the first house we looked at, and I bought it on the spot because I did all the fucking research myself. I researched every location, went and checked out every place. Yeah, only had her just go to the one place I wanted to make sure it was exactly like it was in the pictures, which it was. So I'm like, oh, and she's like, really? You sure? This is the easiest it's ever been for me. I'm like, yeah, no shit. So why am I fucking paying you? But she was a friend. Come to find out, she's a real fucking piece of shit. She was cheating on her husband, who was dying for like 20 something years for some supposed lung cancer. He coughed like death. He sounded like my dad, like times two. And he then lived 20 more years. So it was like, what the fuck? Weren't you on death's door 20 years ago? But yeah, she was cheating on him ever since. So like when he passed, like a year after, I said my condolences. And then I looked at her profile, and she already has like vacation pictures with a new boyfriend. And she's like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'm already engaged, or whatever the fuck. It's like, okay. And then my aunt just let me know that that my cousin, he has a shitty condo at the end of a complex on Main Street, like in Manchester. It's like, Manchester is now Hartford because of, the Democrats. And we didn't realize this 15, 20 years ago, but yeah, they were turning all of our populated towns into cities. So, yeah, you hear gunshots at his house, at his condo. He doesn't have, he has like a little cubby as a garage, and he like put a light down there and everything. I'm like, why? Why? He like tried to make it into his own little shed, and it's like just storage. Because he ended up having to fill it up full of storage after he made it his own little place. So he like brings me in it, and then I'm like, oh cool, this is actually kind of neat. And then I look everything in the hallway. I'm like, that all goes back in here, doesn't it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, so let's bring it back. He's like, yeah. And then we do that, and the whole thing's fucking just full again. It's like, why? All you did was move everything out and then place things like it was a workbench, and then moved everything back in. And so everything was inaccessible because he had it all stacked up above, so it's not even like he could reach in and grab something. Oh, he's such an idiot. But yeah, he paid almost as much as I paid for my mini mansion. Well, I paid like $50,000 more, but still, only $50,000 more. He could have easily had just bought a house. So she's a fucking terrible person because he's living in like probably one of the most dangerous places in this area, and he could die any day. Yeah. I mean, for like a long time, he just pretty much lived that like, Wigger lifestyle. So like, no one gave him a hard time because he was like, just happened to be a white boy in the hood. But now it's not a hood, it's just like, a crime scene. Like, and this was like 5 years ago, I was hearing gunshots. Now you hear them every day, like multiple times, to the point where they don't scare you anymore. Like, the fuck? Like, and then before, you had to actually like be there for like 4 or 5 hours before you heard one. Yeah, drive through there and you'll hear it. Fucking, oh, yeah. And then the fact that she took commission when I did all the work, when it was my first house and I was only 20 years old, she should have just gave that to me being friends. She shouldn't have profited off me. So she's a fucking piece of shit. I'm firing her the moment I get a chance, because she told me that the low bid that they put on my house that they offered me was totally acceptable, but I realized that she doesn't give a fuck. So yeah, she's gonna get her 10 grand no matter what. She doesn't give a fuck how much I get paid. I should literally be allowed to never have to pay a mortgage ever again, because I almost paid off my other mini mansion, then had to lose everything plus my 6-figure paying job to go and take care of my dying mother, because my fat whore piece of shit, disgusting slob of a sister, just up and bailed on her. And my dad bailed on her because he was cheating on her years before that. So, first of all, fuck anyone that's named the same name as me. This program has no relation to any other person with my last name or whatsoever. I'm actually, when I get enough money and power and fame, I'm going to sue them for the name. And it's going to be difficult as hell, but that's what happens when you only, pull like ridiculous shit like that when you get Victor Newman money. And when I have Victor Newman money, fuck you money, that's when I'm going to start going to war with everyone. In the courts, like our great president, who's laughing his way all the way to the bank and is going to keep doing it as long as these stupid ass fucking fake cable news channels like sell fake news. Like, that used to be a felony. Not a felon. I mean, like, it was not a felony, but it was a huge fine, and like, or losing your broadcasting license, which if you're a huge multi-conglomerate, that's murder to your company. Companies. So my Viacom sold everything to Sky News Australia. Bye-bye, CBS. Which it's CBS, so I'm sure they're probably going to keep the title. Because it used to be the best ever. CBS was the number one news network. NBC claimed they were, because they were during the beginning of Saturday Night Live. But they lost that. Like, the moment that Saturday Night Live's hype went down, which was in the 80s. The late 80s. Actually, it was like the late 90s, actually. Yeah, it was the late 90s when pretty much Saturday Night Live started to die. They still had awesome cast members. But that was their way down. But they lost, the number one spot before that, I think. No, pretty much at that time. So yeah, they did have it for a good probably 20, 30 years. But then CBS had it, before then, and then ever since then. So, and then until the last like 7, 8 years, CBS started coming out with like woke, like awful crime shows, like the worst fucking crime shows. The fact that there are different locations for NCIS is disgusting, because the first NCIS lost its joie de vivre after the main character got fired because of sexual misconduct. So that main character, whatever, and then they do a whole episode with his counterpart, she goes on, like, I think all the shows. She's the thin lip, like, plastic surgery, like, classic whore looking, like West, like, classic, like, down south looking whore. She's white. She's got frail skin. But she gets, like, molested or whatever. And then it's like this, oh my god, it was such a disgusting episode because, like, you have to watch her, like, go and save all the DNA and then also bathe afterwards to clean off, like, the grossness of her being raped and defiled. And then also doing her NCIS, crime scene investigation on herself. It's so fucking weird and stupid. And then at the same time, it's like, wait, in reality, couldn't that all just be fabricated? Because she's the one that's collecting all the evidence? And then goes and takes a shower. She doesn't even go to... Oh, that was such a stupid arc. I guess it's like, write what you know. All those CBS hooers that got all their jobs for just being above average looking women getting, like, star roles on TV shows. You think they didn't fuck some executive producer somewhere? I guarantee you they did. They probably fucked the casting agent. That's what women do. That's what they do. They fuck for time and money. Because they charge for their time, which to them is the same as selling sex. So if you pay to see their content or you pay to actually fuck them, there's no difference. You could instead of spending like $500 on their content, you could just spend $500 and have your way with all of their holes for, like, the whole day. Like, that, it's just like, it's like the same thing as having a girlfriend, only but more expensive. And everyone that's married says, oh, it's cheaper to have a whore. It's like, no, it isn't. Because a whore won't go out and, like, get an honest paying job and won't come home with an STD and high off some type of meth or crack or cocaine. All right, last set of my pull-ups from the ground, the legendary technique that no one knows about until today. Or a long time ago when I started doing this stupid shit. Ah! Yeah, right my back. Ah! Bigger back means bigger chest. Ah! Don't pinch your fingies. Alright. So, this was, this is Bodybuilding by Holobic. And, I'll see you next time, because you do what you're told when you're told. That's the boss you're talking to. Okay, yeah.